kicks together.
Well, I wouldn't be putting my hand up to go and see them again next week, to be honest. Based on the last week and the first half of this game, I hope they'll show something in this second half and make it a close game of footy. But it's South Croydon who take the first effective clearance from the middle through Pongracic. Fisted away there by Gibson in defence. Cooper there couldn't quite take possession as he went to ground. I did notice when the Bulldogs came back on the field and were just going through their run-throughs before the start of this second half, Dale Walker looked extremely proppy. I'll be interested to see if he takes much part in this second half. He looked sore or injured.
Yeah, he does look sore in the middle of the ground now, even just walking. So, and he did very, very well on Williams. It looks like, is it even Jake Tucker's gone back into defence there? No, he's not. He's in the ruck. I've misread that. Never mind.
That's okay. Umpire throws it up. King's high kick, but Gibson safely takes the mark. Wanted to play on, so I'm not sure why it's a 25-minute penalty, because it was clear that he wanted to play on them. Let's cross down to Dan Sensick on the boundary.
Yeah, look, he wanted to play on, and the South Croydon player thought the umpire had called play on, so touching the man after he'd taken the mark.
Johnson through the middle, neat kick. This is a promising build-up. Narbergs wants to go laterally to Hudson. Hudson, true wing position for Norwood. Takes Cass on, kicks, and it's a poor kick. Safely marked back there by Allison for South Croydon, and he'll clear for the Bulldogs.
So 1.5 gone here, first term. In comes the kick. It's gathered right there by Adam Gibson here for Norwood. Centre wing area, kicks one up towards centre half forward. Cox gets the hands on it, comes down now here to Anderson for South Croydon. Looking for some open space, finds plenty of it out there on the wing. Gets the ball over there, looking for Cass. Does the roving and gets the ball off the ground. Kicks up towards centre wing, but it's chopped off there by Gibson. And he'll get his second touch in about 30 seconds. Chips one out wide, finds Bennell. He kicks one out now in towards the half-forward line. Plenty of players there. It's punched away at the back. Doing the roving there is Allison. He got hands out now. There's King. His handball into open territory. Gathered in by Max King, and it's over the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw. Let's go to Barry Cotts.
Very quickly in Division 1 scores. Doncaster 11, Bullwins 42. Blackburn 60 to Ringwood 25. Ringwood 22 to Roval 18. Noble Park 29, trailing Montrose 40. And Knox 15-11 to trailing Vermont 11-4-70.
Oh, Vermont juggernaut just keeps rolling on so far this season. Here's a handball there from Donnell. His quick hands finds his teammate there in Tobin. His kick up towards centre wing. Doing the roving there is Cooper. His hand out, intended there for Rosie. Good tackle there, applied there on Nelson Lane. And, Norwood come up with the footy out of that one. Handball over the top. It's moved on there by Chris Aratis. Here's Hudson. He goes forward there by David Johnson. His kick now in towards centre half forward here for Norwood. Mark, which was almost taken there. Here's Stewart there. Puts his kick. It was a grubber. And South Croydon get it through Tobin doing the roving. Quick hands by Walker. It's kicked in towards the centre of the ground. And Allison has it now here at centre half back for South Croydon. Swings one out wide. And the Bulldogs break back down the ground. Cox takes one now here just in front of the Norwood interchange bench here on the half-back flank. 3.5 gone here in this third term. Commanding 42-point lead here to the South Croydon Footy Club. If you're just tuning in, here's Steve Donnell now. Swings one out wide. And, that was a poor kick, Stewart. Well, he probably should have intercepted that. Doing well there was Allison, and he gets a handball out, and away comes South Croydon through the middle of the ground. Good mark. Taken on the lead there by Daniel Cooper. Swings around wide in towards the direction of Rosier, but it's not going to make it. It comes in towards Mallison, and he's kicked it.
Zippy.
Around the body. And, that's...
4.
So that was 4. That was King, excuse me. Well, it's about 400 small forwards down there in the forward line for South Croydon. 12-6-78. They lead Norwood 4-6-30, and that margin opens up now here to 48 points. 4.5 gone now in the third term.
Oh, just that pace again, running through the middle. This time was Strawn, got the quick handball, ran through the middle, elite foot skills onto Cooper, who again turned and went. Narbergs before, it was about 2 or 3 minutes ago, marked on the career pitch, could have handballed to Johnson, stopped, went lateral, breakdown of play. So they've got to move it on quicker. But I'm getting bored of saying that, so if someone else can say it for me, that'd help.
Gee, doesn't he make it just look so easy, though, Michael King? He's unbelievable in that forward line. As Chris
Didn't even think
Aratis.
of kicking a drop punt there, did he?
No. Mark safely taken by Donnell. Donnell's kick to the wing. Pongracic did well against Bennell, outpointed him. He's off and running, gives the handball. Bulldogs move forward, the kick to really a 3-on-1 which favoured Norwood. Lane there tried to paddle it to Hill. Jordan to Lane from half-back. Lane's kick's a good one. Williams got hands to it, couldn't quite take the mark as he dived to the ground. And it would be a boundary throw-in, true wing position.
That's where Norwood, I think, need Bennell in that position because Lane's got the run, but his kicking just isn't on Bennell's level. I think Bennell would have hit Williams on the chest there.
Umpire throws it back in. Little handball to Blees, who's had a bit of a quiet day apart from that exciting goal he kicked in the second quarter. Anderson, who's strongly tackled to ground there by Hudson. And it will be a ball up. So Frank Anderson just seems to be getting better the further this game goes. Umpire tosses it up once more. Jordan there over the footy. Hudson. Did he cop a high one? Umpire said play on. Quick kick around the corner. Mark safely taken and held nicely in defence there by Schink, who doesn't waste too much time. Schink goes down the middle to Pongracic. Anderson tried to get it out to Cox, but it was taken away. Little quick kick forward. Marshall steadies the ship for the Bulldogs. Gave it to Crowell. Now they come out to the other side. High up and under kick to a one-on-one. Good contest offered there by Constantino, but Tobin was still able to take the mark. Gave it to Cass. Kick by Cass was a good one to Birch on a long lead. Birch takes the mark at wing position, wheels around and then doesn't really see much to kick to. Lex to go short. Finds Cass, who's used the ball well today. Cass's kick to King. Dan King, that is. The Chandler medalist gives off the little handball. Kick comes inside 50 for South Croydon. Pongracic swooped on the footy. Fed it out to Cooper, who fires at the goals, but it drifts across the face of goal. And just a minor score there for South Croydon. Let's check in with Barry Cotts now at the score centre.
Yeah, Division 2 scores. Bayswater 53 to Mooroolbark 28. One Turner South 34 trailing leading Leadale 30. Croydon and Doncaster East 79 to Croydon 27.
Thanks, Barry. Here's Narbergs with the footy now for Norwood on the far half-back flank. Gibson. Got 3 Croydon players to deal with, just manages to paddle the ball to no avail. Taken there here by Williams. His hand pass is over the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw in on the far side of the ground. Forward 50 here for South Croydon. 7.5 gone here in this third term on Radio Eastern 98.1 or streaming around the globe on efl.org.au. In comes the boundary throw. Narbergs v King in the ruck. King with the big punch down. Comes out now here to Cox. Gets it quickly on the boot in the direction there of King. But it's all Norwood players here on the near side of the ground. And then one of them is Caldwell with a footy now. Takes an awkward bounce. Manages to get a kick in towards the half forward line. And well, Williams now trying to do the roving here for Norwood. Gets tackled, manages to shake it though, gets a kick away. It was a low and we've got a free kick now. That was a push after the whistle going the way of Williams. And he's going to get one just outside 50, about 55 out on a pretty tight angle. So already kicked 2 today has Lee Williams. And looks like he's going to go for number 3. So about 55 out, near side of the ground, right in front of his own interchange bench. In comes Lee Williams. Puts it on the right boot. Has it got the carry? It has. It just doesn't have the accuracy. It's to the near side, just for the minor score there for Norwood. 4-7-31. They trail South Croydon. 12-7-79. 9 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Matt Fodia.
Yeah, I just think, again, South Croydon they're stopping that long ball off half-back from Norwood, and I think they've just got to get the ball into... Norwood have to get the ball into their elite kickers' hands at the moment off half-back. They're just making poor errors coming off half-back, and that's not helping Lee Williams.
So Tobin to bring the ball back in now here for South Croydon. Sporting a pretty decent 70s mo, I would say. This is probably the best facial hair of the day, if we're going to get an award for that one. Here's a kick out now in towards... flying at the back there was Bennell too early, says the umpire. That's in the back. Advantage paid, or looked like it was paid initially, but decides to bring it back.
You would have dreamt about calling Bennell flying high like that, Brad, for the Demons.
Yeah, it never looked like it that time, though. Way too early. So Max King, another former Demon, is the recipient of the free kick. King's kick to half forward, well played there by O'Neill, but his handball was smothered by Hill. High up and under, kick by Cass. Terrific mark. Gee, that was well done there by Mallison. Quickly plays on, gets it to Walker. Dale Walker through the middle. His kick's a beauty. Gee, threaded the needle there, and he's found Cox in a pack of three. Cox there was in the middle of it, and he took the mark, and a good solid grab there as well by Liam Cox.
I think Joel Narbergs has to get less and less of the footy for Norwood. I think every time he's either getting the footy or putting pressure on, I think it was Mallison there, he's just too slow to react at the moment. He's doing all right in the ruck, but around the ground he's getting hurt by Max King.
So Liam Cox, floating kick, and it's marked on the last line of defence there by Pearson. So it's good they had someone back there. Sometimes you see teams that don't have someone in the goal line. It is costly, but it's Pearson that time who gets it to Newman. Newman right in the back pocket, kicks to the boundary, down the line. Johnson was the target, and Donnell there offering the opposition. So a boundary throw in right in front of our caravan out here today at Cheong Park. 48-point lead for South Croydon. Umpire tosses it in. Stewart up in the ruck for Norwood. Jordan gets his hands on the ball, but he's immediately tackled. And he just hasn't been able to find any space today, Rhett Jordan. He's a very creative player and can be a match winner, but he hasn't really been able to exert his usual influence this afternoon thus far. Little handball out to Jordan from the wing. Jordan's kick carries over the head of the pack. Walker works his way back for the Bulldogs. Slick handball to Tobin. Now with Cox, Liam Cox. Neat kick to the wing position. They just look very composed at the moment, the Bulldogs. Very steady. Over the top to Walker. Seems to have shaken off that limp that he had at the start of the quarter. Walker's kick lands in the arms of Mallison. Mallison wheels around, measures the kick. It was fisted away by Newman. Anderson swoops on the footy now. Frank Anderson's high up and under kick. Norwood seemed to have the defenders back there, but the fist didn't really travel too far. Birch has time, throws it on the boot. Does he get the lucky bounce? No, he doesn't. And it's rushed through for a minor score by Ava. South Croydon leading now by 39 points.
Norwood's intensity has completely dropped off at the moment. South Croydon got the ball on right half back and were able to slice their way around the ground basically to a shot on goal there. It's looking pretty dangerous for Norwood.
So the kick out now finds Hudson now here on centre wing, pursued there by Donnell. His kick in towards the forward line, racing to the flight there, unable to take it was Johnson. And while Williams gives, I think, Tobin a shot.
Kick, isn't it?
And in comes Walker as well. And they trade jumper punches. And well, that's...
I think that's a free kick. If Williams gets 50 for a bloke momentum going through him before, Williams has just thrown him to the side. I think the umpire's got scared of the fact it's Lee Williams. That is a free kick.
So, boundary throw in instead, and in comes the tap there from Tucker. He manages to get the ball down as in goes right as well for Norwood. And we'll have a ball up on the 50, 13.5 play, and a commanding 49-point lead here to South Croydon here in term number 3. As here comes the tap now here from Tucker. It's picked up now here by Jordan. He manages to snap one around the body, but it went straight up and down. A kick back in towards the forward line now here for Norwood. And while taking the mark there was Williams this time. And he's going to go back from about 35 out and look for his third of the afternoon. And in the mind of Matt Fodier, probably unjustified considering his actions.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That mark's fine, but I just think the umpires missed the trick. I think he got intimidated, which is understandable. Lee Williams is an intimidating man, but I think got intimidated. It should have been a free kick to, I think, Crow.
So here's Williams looking for goal number 3 of the afternoon. Acute angle, and looks like he's slotted it right through. Nice kick there from Williams, and that's his third of the afternoon. And Norwood get a timely goal, although time is going to be the enemy if they're going to continue scoring at this pace. 12-8-80, they trail. Norwood are 5-7-37, 15 minutes played on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, well, that's their first goal of the quarter, so it's taken a long time for that one. But let's cross to Barry Cotts with some more scores across the EFL.
Yes, in Division 3, its scores be 61 to Waverley 15. Ferntree Gully 47 to Templestowe 15. Churnside Park trailing Baronia 72 to 9. The Basin 38 is just leading Heathmont 35. Morandite 45 is leading South Belgrave 26. And Ringwood 5-6-36 leading Donvale 5-3-33.
Denell got the handball away to Strawn. Now it's at half-back. Strong tackle applied on right then by Cass. Let's go down to Dan Sensick on the boundary.
Yeah, Matt, so we spoke at half-time about Lee Williams moving further up the field. In that last centre bounce, he started in the middle.
Yeah, it's good to see a bit of influence up the ground. Got a centre clearance straight away as well.
Right's kick intended there for Jordan, carried over his head. The thing I like about that move, Dan and Matt, is it was obvious Lee Williams was getting pretty frustrated, and there's nothing worse than for a full forward is when you're frustrated by your team's performance and there's nothing you can do about it because you're down there in the goal square. So I reckon Lee Williams, yeah, get him into the middle, get him into the action, let him try to change the result here, because they're not going to come back just playing the same way all day.
No, you've got to change it, don't you? It's a good
You've got to
point, Brad.
mix it up. Yeah, for sure. And he's such a good player that he'll have an impact in the middle.
Oh,
too.
exactly, and his size as well. He moves pretty well for a big man. So it's good to see they're trying something. I'd like to see them get Bennell involved. Either if you just isolate Bennell deep forward as well. Let's see if his speed can do something.
Great mark by Tucker, floating in from the side. Handed it off to Cooper. Cooper shows a clean set of heels, races in and kicks the goal. And that may well stem the resistance that Norwood have been showing in this quarter. The quick reply there from the Bulldogs, and the margin's back out to 49 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I reckon you're chucking that on the plays of the week, Dan. Couple of bounces right in front of you on that left half forward flank and a sizzling finish.
Matt, I was just looking at it, the perfect view down here. He had to back himself in there. He had nothing to kick to up the ground. Two Norwood defenders staring him right in the face, so he had to slot the goal.
Let's go to Barry Cotts for the score centre.
Yeah, Division 4, Forest Hill 57 to Coldstream 25. Whitehorse Pioneers 33 to Kilsyth 16. Surrey Park trailing Glen Waverley Hawks 46 to 30. And East Burwood 49 to Nuttawatting, 1 goal, 6 straight.
So this hit out of the centre falls in favour of South Croydon. In comes the kick inside 50 in direction of Anderson. Couldn't take the mark, was jostled out of the contest. Loose footy on the ground, and doing the roving there was Birch, and the ball trickles out over the boundary line. Boundary throw in just inside the 50 here for South Croydon. A little too easy out of the centre there. Now that clearance, 17 and a half gone, 13-8-86. Plays 5-7-37 out here at Cheong Park on Radio Eastern 98.1, or streaming around the globe on efl.org.au. In comes the throw as Gibson was in there. Getting a quick kick off the boot was Hudson. And, well, it was held there to the chest of Bacito, and we'll have a ball up just outside 50 here, attacking side of the ground now here for South Croydon. 18 minutes played. King back into the ruck. Well, relinquishing the ruck contest there was Stewart. Oh, high tackle applied there. And
paid a sling.
Yes, wow. Sam Blees. Well, you could take your pick, or you could argue there.
It was a free kick regardless.
Yeah, Anderson now. Free kick just outside 50, pumps it in towards full forward. Plenty of flayers there in the contest. It's touched off hands and over for a minor score, and that'll just add 1 point to the scoreline. 13-9-87, Norwood 5-7-36. Let's go boundary side of Dan Sensick.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. A lot of frustration about Blees at that last contest. You can just see he's battled all day, but the scoreboard showing the margin, the 50-point margin, what it is. He looked very frustrated there.
And Lee Williams has gone straight back deep forward. I thought he was pretty good in that last 2 centre clearances ago, and they've just given up on that, Brad. I thought you'd stick with that for a bit longer, give him 5 minutes on the ball.
Well, I would have thought you'd stick with it longer, because it certainly seemed to be paying off, but they've dispensed with that one fairly quickly, but they may go back to it, I guess, in a few minutes' time. We'll wait and see. So this is Lane. Weighs up his options. He's been a bit of a mixed bag with the ball in hand today at times, but he does do that well.
Yeah,
darting run from Lane.
That's better.
And it was a good kick as well. Got it out to Feltham. So a couple of the youngsters combining there for Norwood. Feltham's kick looking for Williams. Hudson tried to swoop on the footy, couldn't gather it in. Quick kick was smothered. Anderson lost the handle on it. Bacetto shot it out. Hudson now tries to work his way through some very heavy traffic. Got it to Blease. Gibson, who's usually a very good user of the footy, and this is no exception. Gibson finding Cruceratus.
Hudson did well there not to panic and just throw it on his boot there at centre-half forward. He thought his way through the first tackle, saw the free man out there, and Gibson used his hands, and they've got a shot at goal. Rather than earlier, he would have just put that on the boot, and Williams probably would have had 4 defenders on him.
He's pretty lightly built, Hudson, but he seems to have really good balance through the traffic.
Good looking
Keeps
kick.
his feet well. It was a good kick by Cruceratus for most of the journey, and then it slammed into the woodwork, and that pretty much sums up Norwood's day. 5-9-39, trailing South Croydon 13-9-87 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We're into time on in the third quarter, Steve.
So the kick up towards the half-back flank, and South Croydon moving it out. He's taken near by Allison, and he goes by hand. In comes the kick now in towards centre wing. Anderson all by himself now. Got some options upfield. He goes up towards the half-forward flank near side of the ground. A pretty comfortable mark taken there by Cass. He's got players on offer inside the 50. He pumps a high up and under. Tucker at the back can't take the mark. It ball comes down now here to King, and he's wrapped up by Lane and Williams, and will have a ball up about 25 out from the South Croydon goal. 21 minutes played here in this third term out at Cheong Park. Tucker wins the tap down out of the ruck contest. Here's Jordan. He gets a quick handball out. It spills now here to Hudson. Evades a couple of tackles. Gets a hand pass out now. And the kick comes in towards the centre of the ground. Williams almost took it on the half volley. Did well to get it back now here to Hudson. Evades a couple of South Croydon tacklers. A quick hand pass there from Blease. And it's turned straight over. Those South Croydon pump a high up and under in towards centre half forwards. Spoiled there by Stewart. Bennell gets a handball out. Here's Wright. And, well, he's dealt with. It's picked up now here by South Croydon, streaking in towards goal. This could be goal number 14, and it is. Well, South Croydon putting on a clinic. It is now 14-9-93. Plays Norwood 5-8-38. That was Frank Anderson with that. And, well, took a bounce or two, and that was a little too easy there for the Bulldogs. And, Matt Foddy, your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly right. He just burst through the first tackle, and I think Norwood they've shown more signs going forward that they're willing to take the game on, but you can't drop away defensively, and I think that's what's happened throughout the game. They've almost been too eager to go forward and run away with the footy and try to play their aggressive style, and they've left very, very good on the front foot, South Croydon. Just too many options going forward.
Well, it's a big lead again for South Croydon. Keeps blowing out that last goal by Anderson, his first of the day. As the kick by Carroll finds the boundary line. Zach Carroll, pretty quiet afternoon for him. Haven't called him too many times. He's got a track record of starring in games when Radio Eastern go out to call a game. Zach Carroll, when he played over recent seasons. But certainly not today. He's had a quiet one, that is for sure. When he was at Doncaster was what I was trying to think of. When he played at Doncaster, Zach Carroll, he's had I reckon he's claimed the award from us on at least 2 occasions, 2 or 3 occasions even. Not today though. King puts the kick out to Shink, back to
Donnell,
the half-back position. Little Stevie Donnell, the veteran for the Bulldogs.
Oh, too easy.
Nice
there from
kick,
Tucker.
carried over the head to Tucker. This is a great build-up from the Bulldogs. Kick to the top of the square. Well done there by Pearson. Worked his way back and fisted it through for a minor score. It was Anderson who was the player who the kick was targeted for then, but Pearson had that kick well scouted. Just a minor score.
Shows how good Stuart Hill is that Jake Tucker finally gets a one-on-one that isn't on Hill, and he just pushed Narberg straight under the footy with so much ease, and got that second mark for the day.
So the mark taken here by Stewart out here on the centre wing area for Norwood. 24 minutes played now here in this third term, and he goes in short, and just the right side of the boundary line finds Cruceratus. And Norwood looking for some kind of momentum here. It's pretty much an unassailable lead at this point of the game, but some respectability in the scoreline. Here's some kick up towards the 50-metre line. Hands from Hudson to Williams. Williams chips one in towards goal. He sprayed it to the near side, though, and just the minor score. And that moves Norwood to 5-10-40. They trail South Croydon 14-10-94 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They move the ball out quickly now here from the halfback. Here's Pongracic on the opposite pocket here now for South Croydon. His kick Well, that's going to elude his teammate, and it's going to fall up in the hands of Zach Carroll. Just sells the dummy and pumps one back in towards the forward line. Plenty of players there. Williams can't take the mark. Pongracic challenges him, did well to get a foot to ball, and kicks this one up now here towards a vacant 50-metre line, taken there by Bennell here for Norwood. And he urges his charges on, pumps it right back to where it came from, right back into the goal square. Tucker, well, we've got a free kick now, and it's going against Norwood.
Against Williams.
Williams, the offending player on that occasion, and the Bulldogs will bring it out of their back line. The kick, though, was a poor one. Comes straight back to Carroll. He goes by hands. It's pumped right back in toward the direction of Williams, but doing well there. And chopping that one off was, didn't see who that was, sorry. King, sorry. Dan King, sorry, my apologies. We should have just looked at the long sleeves. The kick running up towards centre wing now. Unable to affect the spoil there was Gibson. Well, busting through there was Cooper. He gets the foot to ball. We got a free kick off the ball, and it was out of bounds according to the boundary umpire. And we'll have a boundary throw in.
It is getting hard to see out there, though. It's getting pretty dark. It's crossed down to Dan Sensic on the boundary.
Yeah, you're not wrong there, Brad. The storm clouds are gathering, so it's going to be interesting to see if we get any rain in this last quarter.
Umbrellas in the car, Dan.
The pink one.
So just crossed the 26-minute mark of this third quarter. 55 points the lead for South Croydon. Narbergs won it out of the ruck. Slick kick to full forward. No mark taken there by Stewart. Handballed it off to Jordan. Feltham takes possession, shares it with Williams. High up and under kick by Lee Williams. They compete about 25 metres out of the mark. That's a great mark. He camped under it for so long then, Frank Anderson, but he never lost focus. And he safely held the mark, and he's had a big third quarter. He goes short to Steve Donnell in the back pocket. So Stevie Donnell looks to come down the line, but it was smothered off the boot there by Hudson. So doing a good job there, Blair Hudson, of manning the mark. Very animated on the mark there, and it paid off. Forces a boundary throw.
You're clutching at straws there for Norwood positives at the moment, are you, Brad?
Tell us what you're really thinking of that.
Boundary throw in. Ball fell short then. Cruceratus throws it on the boot. Drifts across the face of goal. That was well done there by Marshall, competing hard and fisting it over the boundary line. So still 55 points. Dying stage as you would think of this third quarter. Can't be too much time left in this term. South Croydon have kicked 3 goals 4. Norwood just the 1 goal 3 for the term. So it's been a similar story as it was in the first half. This is Bennell taking the mark, wasn't paid. Called play on by the umpire. Carroll throws it on the boot. High, long kick by Carroll off his left foot. Donnell was just panicked a bit under pressure then. Handball from Marshall was good. Mallison with the footy there, but he won't have to do anything with it because the siren has sounded to complete the